Hi! That music transition is rough, I'm sorry about that. Hey, all of you who are watching Python Ronin, hey. Good to see you here. Today, we're just gonna hang out, chill out, build a PC, build a computer that is gonna be a workstation for my mom, who works for me. She does the thumbnails and a lot of the accounting and communication stuff. And what she's been using is this laptop. This is a first gen Ryzen APU HP NV 13-inch. It's a fine laptop, but the problem is, I don't know if it's drivers or something, but with the integrated graphics, stuff like Affinity Photo is not really running all that well. And it's doing some weird stuff where the CPU is going to be pegged for a couple minutes at a time, and it's just kind of weird. I don't know. Domenico, hey, good to see you as well. And Black Wolf, hey, good evening as well to all of you. So, yeah, that's what is going to get replaced. I've got on the other second channel, on the third channel, is this one off? Yes, I just wanted to check because we're going to be taking the SSD out of this one. I did a review on the Creative Gear channel on this one, and I called it like, this is probably the best like mid-entry level. This thing is like $900 or something for this is like 3 years old. $900 for a gorgeous all-metal laptop with a decent screen and decent performance. This was good, but it's time to move on. Domenico, the Core 1000. So let's go over the parts real quick. Core 1000 is going to be the case, fractal design. I bought this thing blind. I read no reviews at all. I have no idea if this is a decent case at all. I just wanted something that is compact. I wanted something that would fit a micro ATX board and not be like a huge chunk of metal that sits on the desk for no reason. I have a fractal case for my own computer. I've got a Meshify C, which is a really affordable, really good case. Nothing really special, but it looks okay. It's fine. It's a good case. I have no idea how this is going to perform. So yeah, this is the new USB 3.0 version. Not that it matters all that much. Like, this is going to get a hub anyways. So mini ITX, micro ATX. It's not going to get any drive. And if you look at the insides, so basically drive cage for 5 points. Actually, I do have a zoomed in view because full live streaming setup. So main mode area, it has a whole bunch of space for 3.5-inch drives. This is going to come out, this can be removed, and I hope this part up here for the 5.25 inch drives can be removed as well. So this is basically just going to be a frame. For the actual components, let's see what we've got. So AMD, of course, I'm all AMD these days. I did get a new 5600X. This went into my PC, so this computer is going to get a 3600X. Still a very respectable CPU. This has served me well. This is a 6-core, boosts up to 4.3-ish gigahertz or something. It's a fine CPU. So that's that. I put it in the packaging of the new one. So like, yeah. We're going to be using the stock cooler. Originally, I thought I was going to have to use the stock cooler from the 5600X, which is a 65-watt unit. And this is, as you can see, like it's a significantly smaller cooler than the one that came with the 3600X. But I remember I still have that one. So this is the Wraith. What is it called? Does it have a name on there? No. All I know is the one from the 5600X is the Wraith Stealth, and this is like the Wraith 1 bigger. So this is like a decent sized cooler. 95-watt CPU technically. Really, it doesn't matter which cooler we use. I can take the one from the 5600X out of the box as well. For the workload, oh yeah, the difference is quite striking. So there's the difference in thickness between the one from the 5600X and the 3600X. It really does not matter for this particular build because the workloads that this CPU is going to be seeing, they're going to be super bursty. So the most sustained load is probably going to be exporting a PNG for 2 seconds. So absolutely does not matter which cooler goes in here. I could probably put like a passive heatsink on here and just call it good with that. But yeah, this is you know, a 3600X is still overkill for the build. Spire, Wraith, Spire, yeah, so this, yeah, exactly. This is the Wraith Spire. That's the one that came with these 3600X. I thought I had a 3600 XT, but this is just an X. So CPU 3600X, 6-core, fine. Now GPU. Do I have some more cable length on my Stream Deck? Yes, I do. GPU at first, so in the thumbnail you can see the GeForce GTI 1080 Ti. But this build is actually going to be getting a 5600 XT. So this, as you can see, that's a triple slot, that's a dual slot. Obviously this is a much newer card, but performance is about 10% below what a 1080 Ti does. Now this again is mostly just going to be accelerating Affinity Photo. So you know, something like a 2600 NVIDIA RTX 2600 would have been totally fine, but these are the two cards I have. I didn't have to buy these. This was in my personal gaming PC. I'm gonna swap in the 1080 Ti because I am gaming on my TV a lot, and this has better 4K performance because it has more and I think faster RAM as well. So this one is gonna go in my computer, and I'm gonna keep that safe somewhere back here. And the 5700 XT is what we're going to be putting into this build. Now, the XFX, what is this called? 57XT8D. So this is a card that is notorious for having a pretty poor cooling design. So out of the box, you get like a full shroud on the side that blocks any and all airflow out the side. So I took off that shroud. I think there's some more plastic. Yeah, it was on this side actually. It's just plastic cladding that is completely useless. And this is also the second one of these that I have. I did have to send it in for warranty once because the fans started to refuse to spin up. So yeah, not the best track record on this card, but it's going to be fine. Domenico, so main editing computer right now is a Threadripper 3965. 24 core Threadripper. That and an RTX 3090. I got that 3090 before the prices went skyrocketing high, and I got lucky on that. Radeon 7 actually went out pretty fast, and the 1080 Ti went back in because the Radeon 7 was giving me rendering errors. I don't know if it was drivers or if it was something. But yeah, the Radeon 7 got sold. I actually sold it for a profit. I bought that. It was like one of the last on-shelf models that I think Mind Factory had. And I got more on eBay. The buyer paid more for that Radeon 7 that I paid originally. So I don't know, markets are crazy. But yeah, I went back to the 1080 Ti for editing. And then I upgraded to a 3090 when that was available at a reason. Like I paid $2,000 for it. It's a 1,500 euro list price card, and I was seeing the 3090s for like $3,000. So I guess I got an okay deal, but like still GPU prices are absolutely crazy. So rest of the parts on this build though. So we've got the 3600X, we've got the 5700 XT, so all AMD so far. We're gonna go with the ASRock B450M Pro 4. I have the B450M Pro 4F in my computer, which is a board that costs basically the same but has less fan headers. That was the only difference that I could find between these. This one has more fan headers. This build's gonna get a couple extra fans just to run them on idle basically. So I'm very happy with the Pro 4F version of this board, so this probably is going to be okay. And it should run with the 3600X without needing a BIOS update because it has that sticker of being Ryzen 3000 ready. So yeah, ASRock, good. I could have gone with a cheaper Gigabyte, but I'm not sure if that would have exploded or not, but yeah. And lastly, the one point where you should not cheap out, like I don't care if you cheap out on the motherboard. but power supplies is something where you should never cheap out, because this is like, if this goes, you're gonna have some real trouble. Seasonic, I run a Seasonic, I think Platimex they're called, in my editing rig. This is a Seasonic core. It's a GC 500 watt, 80 plus gold. So this, sorry if that was loud. Yeah, 80 plus gold. This was $50 or something, which is super reasonable for a 500 watt, 80 plus gold. Power supply, Seasonic, never had bad experience with it, and I think they're getting consistently like good reviews. Fixed cables, who cares? It doesn't have that many cables, and I'm going to be using most of them. I'm going to be using 2 PCIe's. I'm going to be plugging in the mainboard's connectors, and then whatever goes to drives, like, we're going to tuck it away somewhere. This thing is going to be half empty anyways. Before we start the build though, we will need to extract the SSD out of this laptop. And if I remember correctly, there are actually screws hidden underneath these strips. Yeah, it feels like there's something underneath here. So let's get started with that. Actually, we can move that around. Ha! Yeah, Games Nexus PSU blow-up footage. I just watched a couple of videos about that today. Is that screws? Yes, that is screws. Okay. And yeah, power supplies that blow up. And well, here's the thing. It's kind of like with 3D printing, right? Power supplies that blow up, okay, happens. You know, manufacturers make a mistake. Sometimes, like, they just get bad components, whatever, doesn't matter. But the way that Gigabyte has handled that situation, that is what really pushes it over the edge of being like, okay, they could have done this well, but they, well, that's a Torx. I shouldn't use a Phillips on that. They could have handled this well. They could have turned this around and you know, changed the light on that story and were like, hey, yeah, sure. Sorry about that. That shouldn't have happened. We're going to replace all of them. We made some faulty units. No. What they decided to do was they were going to attack Gamers Nexus and basically say, oh, yeah, they're using unreasonable testing. They're, you know, what they're seeing with the power supplies that blow up is not indicative of is not indicative of what a real world load is, yada yada yada. And I was like, dude, no, like that's not how that works. It's so when somebody like ANET has a printer that catches fire or has bad safety mechanisms, or who was it, Voxel Lab, like, yeah, that's, I mean, sure, happens, but when they do it again and again and again, like, at some point you gotta start wondering, like, is that something they're just incapable of getting right, or, you know, do they just not care? Dominica, I think I did swap out the SSD on this machine once. As you can see, like, I've already torn this apart, and there's already, yeah, all these fasteners have already been undone. I know where to look for them. So I don't know if there's still a 961 in here. But honestly, SSD performance, as long as it's an SSD, they're all pretty good. Like, I would be very happy running just a SATA SSD these days. They're all pretty good. Like, you're not going to notice that much of a difference between a SATA SSD and an NVMe drive. Yeah, sure, in extreme cases and in benchmarks and stuff, you will definitely be able to measure it, but you would be hard-pressed to notice any difference between, you know, reasonable SSD and NVMe. We should be back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I forgot to plug in the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, which has abysmal battery life. And of course the mic is plugged into that. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Yeah, I wouldn't like let me repair your laptops because I'm not always great at being gentle with them, especially when it's like thin-end lights like this, where everything is clipped together and it's like little plastic bits that you almost have to break off when you take it apart. Yeah. Not a fan of that. I guess in that regard, Apple devices even are more repairable than these, where it's all plastic that snaps in and snaps off when you try and take them apart. So okay, so we got the drive out. Like I said, some Toshiba. I think this is only a PCI Express 2X, but still, like I just said, like you're not gonna notice any difference. This laptop can go bye-bye for now. I'm just gonna get a new SSD in there, and I guess I'm just gonna chuck it up on eBay. Because the laptop I'm using here for all my slicer stuff, that one's fine, like that doesn't need to be replaced. And I should probably keep the screws safe with that laptop somewhere. How do I do this? I guess I'm gonna use the CPU packaging. And dump them in there. There you go, little tray with all the screws in it. Perfect. All right. Until one transfers huge files, like I said, the application, the use case for this is emails, accounting, photo editing. The only loads this system's gonna see are 100% bursty, so I don't think this is ever gonna write through to the drive directly. It's all gonna go to RAM. Like everything is gonna get buffered in RAM that would ever be done on this system. So motherboard. Oh yeah, population matrices for RAM. We're definitely gonna have a look at that. SATA cables, these are actually SATA 3, that's good. Manual, you do... I'm still amazed that you still get actual driver CDs. Most computers don't even have a driver, an optical drive anymore, so... Yeah, should we do the entire Linus Tech Tips, we build it on the box first thing? Oh, look at that. It's all black. I love that. I guess we can assemble as much as we as we can on this one. Oh. That heatsink's pretty loose. Guess let's just assemble as much as possible on here. The 5300G. Yeah, though the thing is we are replacing an APU system with one that has a dedicated graphics card, and I'm not sure if the problems we're seeing actually stem from the fact that it is, or that it was, an APU system with all the like shared stuff and driver flaws and stuff that comes with using an APU. Because I think performance-wise, what that old laptop was would have been fine, but I think it's some sort of driver issue that kept it from running reliably. So AMD sockets, these really haven't changed in the last 15 years, right? This is basically 938 still the same stuff. So CPU is in. Before we get the cooler in, let's install the SSD as well. So full-size NVMe. Man, I love NVMe drives. It's the fact that you don't have any cables coming off of the mainboard is like super cool. This is a pretty big Phillips head. So M.2 just goes in here. Boom, and you're in. So this is a 2x PCIe. That's an interesting population choice. We've got the 1x fully populated, 16x fully populated, and then a 2x. At least that, where is that a 4x? I don't know. Might be a 4x. Not sure, but it only has pins up to here. It might be a 4x. So that's where the GPU is going to go. Actually, again, it's one of those things where it kind of doesn't matter. So GPU bandwidth on PCIe, even for gaming, like going between 1x, where I think it was 2x or something, and 16x is like a 10% performance difference in the worst case. So yeah, we're gonna use the proper slot for it, but you know, I've also had GPUs just in lower tier slots, and because I needed the other ones for other stuff that I was plugging in. So yeah, GPU, and then we have, well, this one's gonna get occupied, so we only have one more 1x. RAM. Let's get some RAM. What RAM do we have here? What is this even? This is G.Skill. This is DDR4 2400. That's some classic RAM. Though it is 1.2 volts in CL15, so it's like, yeah, it's from 2015. This is just some memory I stole from an Unraid system. So yeah, because that Unraid box does not need 32 gigs of RAM. Ryzen. Oh God, what are we? Actually, these are all the same. Is this Summit, Raven, Bristol? So we are populating A2 and B2 in all these cases, and memory support 2667. Huh. Limited on all. Pinnacle Ridge 2933. So we're not that far off. And what is B? Graphics, okay, so the two that are further away from the CPU. So you go in here, and this has one of those single-sided slots that I'm not a huge fan of, because it always feels like you're sliding the RAM sticks across the pins. But I guess it works. Yeah, CL15, here's the thing though, with CL with latencies. The CL latency that you see listed on RAM is always clock cycles. So if you have a CL15, but it's only 2400, that is equivalent to a CL23 if it was a 3600 RAM or CL22.5. So, you know, getting a CL19 3733 on CL19, that is better RAM or lower absolute latency than a CL15 on 2400. So the CL number kind of doesn't make sense unless you also factor in the rated memory speed. This is not high-end memory, absolutely not. It was reasonable priced memory in 2015, so it's like 6-year-old memory, 6-year-old budget memory. It's fine for the system though. So I guess, how large are you? Oh, you're fine actually. You're not going to cover anything up. This one already has the thermal paste on it, but there is some dust in here which I'm going to scrape off real quick. My scrapey drivers, there they are. So there are a couple of specks in here, and I just want those gone. The thermal paste is going to spread out anyways, and again, this is cooling wise, it's overkill for what this application is. Now, AMD has done something really weird with these newer Ryzens. So the AMD system has this really nice mounting platform where you have these two plastic brackets. It used to be like one entire frame, but you have these two individual plastic brackets that go around they go above and below the CPU, and you basically just have a clip that can clip onto those two noses and it presses down your cooler. But what they did with the stock cooler is they're actually giving you a screw mount. So you have to remove those two brackets that come on the main board to even install your stock cooler. And I don't really understand that, considering that this would be, you know, this is a practical mounting system even on these stock coolers. Like, why do you have to remove these? Yep. When you have a perfectly good mounting system, why do you have to go the old, hey, I'm gonna screw it down solution? This is not, I mean, not elegant for sure. Don't have one of those nice you know, ratcheting screwdrivers. I do have the Bosch Go here, but like I would rather not use it, because it feels like I wouldn't have enough control when I work on a PCB. Why are you... Look at that. Okay, that goes on like this. So now I've got the AMD logo like sticking out the side. What are you? Why are you wrong? I want the AMD logo sticking up. Huh. I should have it sticking over here. Oh, I guess I'll do this. And then this just gets screwed down. AMD. Doing weird stuff with the coolers. I'm just gonna, yeah, screw these down until they bottom out, and yeah, the springs are gonna take care of the tensioning there. To encourage buying the next step up. So I guess that the larger cooler has the logo upright, or is this? Hold on, let me check if it's better on the other one. Nope, same thing. So this has a hole pattern that would allow it to rotate. So you could take off this fan and rotate it 90 degrees so the logo sticks up, but like it's mounted wrong out of the factory. Weird stuff. Yeah, the larger coolers, they're standard tower coolers. But I actually do like this blow down style cooler, because it does cool the VRMs as well. Not that it matters for 3600X, but you know, it does have that advantage. So we do have two fan headers. We have fan 1 and we have CPU fan, which is fan water pump. So I'm just gonna go with the fan 1. Me. All black. I'm liking this so far. The SSD being blue, I don't know, a bit of an eyesore, but hey. I guess at this point we could power it up. Should we power it up, or should we yeah, Dominica, that's the one that I'm referring to as well. Should we power this up on the bench, or should we just go ahead and drop it into the case and see what happens? I don't think there's like anything wrong. I don't think there's any chance of stuff going wrong with this build. Let me know. So you guys decide what do you want to do. I'm gonna unbox the case, because that would be the logical next step. Or actually no, we need the power supply either way. Power supply, Seasonic, the heart of your system. Yeah, there was some. Oh yeah, exactly. That's one thing that I saw that I found interesting. Dear valued customer, thank you for purchasing the Seasonic power supply. Please note, as part of the united effort to fight the coronavirus outbreak, we have removed all non-woven materials from our product packaging. These materials are important resources for the production of face masks and protective clothing used by health workers and the general public. We apologize for the inconvenience. So I guess you used to get like a bag or something with this? Cable bag? So they do still include the power supply tester, the PS on to ground bridge. A couple zip ties and stuff, that's cool. But yeah, no bag. But it's also not a modular power supply, so you wouldn't get a bag or you wouldn't need a bag anyways. I don't know. So, okay, since nobody's deciding what we should do here, I'm just gonna go ahead and get assembling because I don't want to... That's interesting fragrance. I'm just gonna get to assembling this thing into the case because, like, I don't think we need to test it beforehand. So that's done. That we will still need. That is also done. Okay, you're gonna go in the case. You're also gonna go in the case. Missed the question on the train. Sorry about that. Should we assemble this or test this outside of the case, or go right to installing? So I'm just gonna go right ahead to installing. Who did I just miss? Andy Pelletier. So let me... I think Andy's actually not... I think those messages are actually for the main channel. So, hi Andy. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. And those shoutouts on the wrong channel, but yeah. Thank you, Andy. And goodbye, Domenico. Good to have you here. Catch you later, maybe. So, case. First impression, very light. Very, very light case. But hey, that's what makes it cheap, right? Not a lot of material used. Oh, these styrofoam panels are about as heavy as the case itself. Cool. Attention! In the event of having received a faulty product. Nah. Fractal design. Oh, it has foam feet. That was what I was feeling. Okay, that's interesting. Foam feet on the bottom. Okay. It's a pretty small case. I like that. So yeah, size-wise, you just get enough space for an ATX supply and your 4 slots, and then a standard micro ATX mainboard. How much space do you get behind the tray? Are these captive? No. Oh, come on. Ugh. Interesting. So again, I bought this case blind, and one interesting fact is it has all its I/O over on the side. So you have your power button. Where is it? There. Oh, that's a deep click. You have a power button. You have your reset. Yep. One USB 3, one USB 2, both LEDs, and your headset, microphone, and headphones inputs on the side. So there's nothing on the top of the case at all. Obviously, absolutely nothing. I was going to check behind the motherboard tray, and there is no space behind it whatsoever, like zero. That's not going to fit anything, so no cable management there. Of course, that does make the case rather slim, but yeah. Who gets this PC? This is the work PC for my mom, who works for me and does, you know, communication, accounting, thumbnails, all the sort of stuff that I can pass off and say, hey, you're good at this. Do this for me, please. Oh, this is riveted. Okay. So yeah, this is going to be a photo editing mostly and email machine. I know it's overkill for that. So I was hoping that this top panel would be removable as well as this top tray for 5.25 inch drives. It is not. It does have a 3.5-inch adapter mounted in it by default, but this one should be removable. Yeah, it's all thumb screws. Wow, that is light. It is all thumb screws, so I guess we can just take this panel right out. And I don't think we'll ever be needing it because it's not. This system is never going to see a 3.5-inch drive or a 2.5-inch drive. We do need the space for the graphics card though, I think. And you're locked in like that. Oh, let's do that. So we've got the accessories box clipped to that. And all the internal connectors. That's a lot of internal connectors. Yeah, because you do have USB 3. You do have USB 2. That's the USB 2, and with only one socket populated. And you have HD audio, and then of course all the connectors. Okay, that's gonna go over there for now. We do get one fan pre-installed. Oh, and that's just a 92 on the back. Okay. I thought this had space for another 120. I mean, I don't think we're going to be fitting a 140 in here anytime soon, but okay. I guess we'll use a classic. Or can we fit another? Can we fit another 120 in the front? So again, there is one fan pre-installed. It's a 3-pin. That comes off easy. Nope. Nope, absolutely no way that we're fitting another fan in here. Interesting. So like all this space could have been opened up for another fan. There are some, you know, reinforcing punch outs here, but yeah, this could have been space for another fan. Instead, they give you a Silent Series LT in the bottom here that, yeah, and all this mesh up front here is actually kind of useless then. Oh well. So one single 120mm fan. Angle grinder, yeah. I could print a GPU brace. Huh. Yeah, I'm not too happy about the single fan up front here. You do get one fan input or one fan mounting position on this side, and I think I will make use of that. Though I'm not sure if that should be an inlet or an outlet. I guess it would need to be an inlet. Because the power supply is going to need to suck air from the inside of the system. Oh, that's very black. Power supply needs to suck in air from the inside of the system here, so that's going to get CPU, warm CPU air. And then GPU is going to get here, so yeah, that's going to need to be another 120mm inlet. Vertical GPU mounting, I don't think we have the space for that. So there's only about space for like a 2-slot high or 2-slot wide GPU back down here. And we have a 3-slot GPU with this guy, so this is not gonna fit here unless we make all the built-in PCIe mounting spots unusable, which I don't want to do. GPU will draw air from that vent anyways. Yeah. So with the problem is this GPU doesn't vent out the back. So it has these two fans and they vent towards the motherboard, which is kind of useless, and they vent, you know, upwards and like that. So yeah, basically if you put that here, actually no, it's gonna sit pretty far down. Whew. Because this is going to sit in the second PCIe slot, so there's going to be almost no space there. Whew. So no vent on the bottom as well. That's going to be a toasty boy. But yeah, it will need to be an inlet. I'm hoping. Oh god, we might not be able to fit a fan there because the case is so slim. So between the edge of the PCIe bracket there and the GPU extending it, I don't know if we will be able to fit a fan here at all. So I might need to go with a 80mm fan. Oh God, when was the last time I've intentionally used an 80mm fan? That's so long ago. But yeah, we might need to go with an 80mm fan on the back. Okay, so let's see what we get. So all the same thumb screws, that's good. Is there enough space for a fan? Well, we will find out. Do we get a little install tool for the... Oh, wow. Wow. You guys recognize what this is, right? That's a 5.25 inch to 3.5 inch adapter for the front. So, you know, instead of putting a CD drive in there, this would be for your floppy drive. Or for, you know, a card reader or something, but wow. Okay. Do we get an install tool? No, we do not, unfortunately. So with the motherboard standoffs, speaker, we're not going to use a bunch of standard screws. With these motherboard standoffs, what you would often get is a little tool that wraps over these and adapts these to a standard Phillips head. So that is not included, but we do get like a little locking latch for the case, which we're not going to use. These are for drives, for fitting through the rubber grommets. Yeah. Okay. Can you fit a 92mm fan on the back? Yes. Yes, you can. But I don't have any 92mm fans. I don't think I've ever used a 92. Okay, mounting holes. Oh, that's an interesting mounting hole pattern. So, top row complete, then middle row complete, and then the left one and then the bottom hole, but not the top one here. Okay. Thankfully these don't need to be super tight. Clearly needs a floppy drive now, yeah. Do I still have one of those? I think I threw them all out. I hung on to something like a floppy drive for a while. But the thing is you don't have any ports to plug it into. I don't know what that port is called that floppy drives are getting plugged into, but it's not IDE. Is it? No. Is it? But yeah, I don't think I have one. I might, but I don't think I have one. Come on. Yeah, very thin stuff. 3.5 inch front panel for USB-C and stuff. Yeah, that could be an option. I guess I would need to... Yeah, so this one has... This board only has the... Oh, but it has... Nope, just has one. This board only has the pin header style USB 3.0 ports, whereas the newer USB-C style ports have, I don't know, a connector that looks more like a SATA connector. So that one's a lot more solid and a lot less prone to pulling out. So technically, I guess this board's only made for like the USB 3.0 header or front header type. But I'm sure there's like 3.5 inch panels that adapt that. So one thing we should not forget, that is very easy to forget, the rear panel. So you just snap it like that. Fun fact, while I'm working away on this stuff, fun fact, one of the main and probably, yeah, I guess without it I wouldn't have a YouTube channel at all. But yeah, one of the reasons why I have a YouTube channel in the first place and why I've decided to make that my main business. Are you kidding me? Ah! I can't get it in. It's too long. but the standoff is right there. Like, what? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to put that anecdote on pause and figure out how I'm ever supposed to get that in here. Come. What? Like. This is so tight. Like, no, that's not going in. That is like literally not going in because it is so tight. So this, I pulled the back pin load. So this bit right here is like standing in so far towards the mainboard that I can't get the mainboard in. I think I'm gonna have to do a little, I'm gonna have to remove this thing. There's no way around this. I can't get the mainboard in. Is the cage not removable? The cage is not removable without a drill. So yeah. Hey Simone, thank you for the channel name praise. Yeah, I'm still working on that channel name thing. I'm gonna get a cage removal tool real quick. Wow, but you guys can see what the problem is, right? This is the standoff where like the top corner of the mainboard is supposed to go. And then there's just a bracket right there that intrudes into that space. And I'm not sure how I'm supposed to tilt in the mainboard with this in the way. One moment. Can an edge be let in first? Yeah, I tried it both ways. I tried going in the bottom edge, but the problem is you can't slide it over the header. Shove this off the bench here. So you can't actually slide it over the header on this side because this has the ports that need to stick through. I should be able to snap a small part of it. Yeah, I'm just going to remove the entire thing, right? Should be easier. Slide it from the bottom. The problem is there's no space at the bottom there too. I tried that and it wedged against the bottom of that frame too. So yeah. So I'm just going to take out, you know, this little top cage. So yeah, while I do that, the anecdote about like why I have a YouTube career, if you want to call it that, is because my first way of making money, my first business was building PCs. Oh, that's actually, is that? Ah, so that's not the one we want to remove. So yeah, first business together with a buddy was building PCs. I think we sold a total of like 20 systems or something. But it was a nice kickstart to having, you know, some sort of a business, of, you know, authority over you know, running a business, selling stuff, buying stuff, doing accounting, doing taxes, all that sort of stuff. And it was just the little spark that I needed to have the confidence to try this for myself as well. There we go. Pro tip for drilling through rivets, by the way. If you have, you know, if you have your rivets spin over your drill like that, I don't know if you can see that, but this one's just loosely spinning, angle up the drill. And basically, even if it still spins, it's going to chew through that rivet. Pretty good. And eventually you're going to get through it. So I guess two more in the back here. And there's one more in the back somewhere. So yeah, I don't think anyone needs 2.5 inch drives. I think I have one DVD drive still in the back. Somewhere, archived, hidden away, where nobody's gonna find it, but yeah, it's not like this drive's ever gonna get, or this system's ever gonna get a 5.25 inch accessory. And now, look at that. Domenico was like, hey, no, the cage is not removable. Yeah, it is removable. Did I learn to build PCs on YouTube? Was YouTube around at the time? I mean, this was 14 years ago. Not sure how much YouTube was around at the time, but you know, I think it just started out as something, but no, I don't think I learned much on YouTube back then. You know, it was just reading forums, reading manuals, figuring stuff out, buying stuff, trying it, finding out, hey, it doesn't actually work this way. That was a large part of it as well, and I'm thankful for everyone who put up with that. Yeah, we were not a very good business. But hey, that's the entire startup thing, right? How? You just jump into it head first, and you figure stuff out as you go. So, cut the view out. Of course, I think that cage was part of, you know, at least some of the structure of the case. But with the side panels on, I think it's still fine. How did you find your clients? Mostly locally. Well, I think if I'm saying, hey, we sold 20 systems total, I think we did more than that. But yeah, it wasn't a huge business. Like, it was at the end of basically high school, and before we started going into university. There we go. Let's print this out. So yeah, it wasn't. You know, but. The thing is not, hey, you make a ton of money with your first business, with your first startup idea. It's really about learning how stuff works, how, you know, what you need to start a business, what you know, responsibilities, communicating with customers, that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's actually what I took out of that. So. Right. And I also learned that, you know, stuff like this, drilling out part of a computer case, probably not something you want to show to a client, but might be necessary sometimes. Thankfully, this is not a client build. This is one where it just really leisurely can slide in the main board and have it work. That's still a really tight fit. Wow. All the ports through? Yeah. Oh, the back panel's not in all the way. Now it is. There we go. That's better. Okay. Easy enough. Yeah, the entire thing building for someone else. That's, of course, that is something that's yeah, you know, when you're selling stuff, you know, you are always building or doing something for someone else. I wouldn't like. I'm very cautious when it comes to, you know, somebody asking me, hey, can you build a PC for me, or can you build XY for me? Because it always has a liability to it that, as someone who just does it as a hobby, you kind of can't live up to. What thread are these? Are these fine pitch? What thread are these? Come on. So, you know, when you do it professionally, when you run a business, that's your job. That's literally your job to take responsibility for the stuff you build. But I don't think you want that responsibility when you're just enthusiastic about stuff and do it yourself. Which ones are the ones for the main board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. 5. Okay. Is that not the ones they want me to use? Oh, I guess I'll just stick with it. So HDMI port. I actually want the lip to go above that. Right there, that's something that can really easily happen where you have your that lip that makes contact with the port, but that actually goes into the port instead of over it. And that's something that's really hard to fix without taking the mainboard out, aka impossible to fix without taking the mainboard out. So I'm going to do these all loosely first, and then we're going to tighten it up once we've got them all set. Okay, so I'm going to give it this big one down here. Yeah, so basic PC stuff. I mean, I used to do like custom water cooling. I had, so my workstation used to be Threadripper 1950X. X? Or is that like X? No, it's just X. Threadripper 1950X. The 1080 Ti. That 1080 Ti behind me actually used to run on water as well with an EK block. The 1950X was on water. I had, you know, 3 or 4 RADs in that system. You know, custom builds, but eventually I was like, come on, algae growth, having to service all that water cooling stuff. It's really expensive when you want to upgrade something, because you don't just need like you don't just need a new graphics card, you also need a new block for it. So eventually I was like, this is just not worth it. I'll just stick with air. So I you know, got rid of all the water stuff in that system and replaced it with a decent air cooler, and the cards are running their stock coolers, and it's really been good. Like that's the entire, you know, no RGB, all black, everything mentality, I guess. Just have something that, you know, when you're going to be spending money on it, you spend the money on actual performance. On features, on useful stuff. I mean, sure, yeah, flashy RGB stuff, like if you're into that, that's a feature too. But for me, you know, I'm not staring at my computer. I know what's in there. I know that it's a good system that I'm using, but I don't need it to blink at me the entire time and glow underneath my desk. If you're into that, that's cool. Like, I'm not RGB shaming anyone, but it's just not what I think is necessary for having a nice PC. And I would rather spend the money on, like I said, faster RAM, faster graphics card, faster CPU, that sort of stuff. So, what do we do? Let's check the fit of the GPU. So oh, these are, this one's cross-threaded. Nice, right out of the box. Yeah, Simone, I mean, the cooling difference even is, I guess with graphics cards, yeah, with graphics cards it is so much easier to get rid of the heat if you're water cooling, but on a CPU, oh, and this thread is stripped, wow, holy crap, this case is garbage. Yeah, so on a GPU, of course, it is a lot easier to get rid of the heat with a water block, but on a CPU, honestly, like the CPU coolers that you can get, like on my workstation, I think I have a Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro whatever, and that one is about as good, if not better, than most of your AIOs. Come on, okay. This lockup I'm gonna need to take out. So yeah, just sits straight on your CPU, doesn't take up any fan slots, nothing like that, and basically you get the same performance. So on the topic of brackets, I don't think like this, I mean, could just put a pad of foam here and support that, because this GPU is pretty long and pretty heavy. But yeah, there is less than one finger worth of space between the bottom of the case and like right there, between the bottom of the case and the GPU. That is very important space for airflow though. So yeah, this fan up front here, this one's really important. Where is that? Is that in the front panel? Where is my front panel? Where's my, there's my front panel. Oh, okay. So the fan that comes in the case is clipped into the front panel, or in front, I don't know whatever this is called. It's clipped in, but there's also mounting holes back here, so you can screw that to the frame as well. I feel like thermally and airflow wise, it would be smarter to screw it to the case. So yeah, it is a 120 spacing. Because like that, you don't have a gap between the fan and the front sheet metal where air could escape, instead of forcing air straight into the case. But yeah, GPU is going to be toasty. Like I said, this is not going to be a sustained load system. This is just going to be a burst load system. Editing photos, exporting stuff like that, that's not something that has a sustained load on the system, which is why I'm okay with the box cooler, which is why I'm okay with the GPU kind of being, I don't like this, but yeah, kind of shimmied in there. Cable management's going to be tricky though, because like there's no place to hide. So power supply goes up here, so we're just going to have to like zip tie cables to the front somewhere. Not done there for a while, but yeah. Right. So I guess plug in all the case stuff. So say, no, that's what to swivel down. It's going to be real tight down there, especially because there's no cable management in this bottom area underneath the GPU. So we're going to have to route these real tight, and I guess that's a zip tie point. Just make sure it doesn't like poke up into the fan or the fans on the GPU. Yeah, so from what I've read about the stock AMD coolers is they're okay, but if you actually use a better cooler, you do get higher boost clock or higher sustained boost clocks. Wow, cable management's going to be a mess. So yeah, again, since I'm not worried about sustained load, this one's okay, and that's audio. Yeah, I'm fine with losing like 5% performance by not using a high end cooler. I could have grabbed like some sort of a small tower cooler or something, but it's just not just not necessary. So USB 2.0, and you can kind of see the idea. We're going to be leading all the cables out towards the front. They're going to get zip tied down there, and there's nothing going to be poking up into the GPU. Where's the... Oh. So that's this header down here, and there's still no standardized pattern for the for these front headers. Power switch, we do need this one. Thankfully it is labeled, so HD LED, power LED. I'm not gonna hook up the HD LED because that one I think is just unnecessary, though power LED I do need to hook up. It does have a like a positive, negative, like why? You guys have standardized on so much stuff, but not this front header stuff? Come on. I've got HD audio in AC97 before that was a standard layout, but why not this? And then reset is down here. Okay, and then hard drive LED. I don't like the blinking light. Yeah, the case is not very good, Animation Creations. I am surprised to see this being such a poor performer, but yeah, like I said, I did buy it blindly. I did buy it without reading anything about the case at all. Just gonna drop the zip tie in here. So like that one's on me. And I also don't know if the Core 1000, which this case is, if that is like even a current generation fractal case, or if that's something that's about to go off the market. I do have a case. I do have a fractal case for myself, and it's fine. But yeah, this is not a great one. For 40 bucks though, would I buy it again? I don't know. Probably. This was literally like the cheapest brand name, decent looking case that I could find. So that's just what you get when you buy like the cheapest stuff you can find. I mean, that's not too bad, eh? It's not too bad of a cable management job. This we're gonna worry about later. Yeah, and it is an extremely flimsy case. Okay, so the panel, the case is wired up. You've got the NVMe SSD in there. We do need one more fan. I think I'm just going to assist this with another 80mm fan. Though I guess technically we don't need it because we're going to be pushing air in from the front and from the side. But we could... Yeah, actually, yeah, we might end up blowing air out the front. So airflow-wise, of course, what you typically want is front to back and bottom to top airflow. So in the top here, we're going to have the power supply. That's going to be sucking air out. In the front, we have one 120mm fan blowing air in, and in the side, we're also going to have a 120mm fan blowing in. So probably what's going to happen is this front fan is going to suck air in. This one's going to suck air in. There's some meshing in the back here. We're going to get some air escape out of this one and some more air escape out of this one, which I don't think is that bad because we still have like bottom to top airflow. But yeah, I think I should add another fan in the back, though I don't have any fan screws. Duct tape the 5.25 slot. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, just to get that controlled airflow from front to back. Actually, on the Be Quiet case that I use on my workstation, because it has that Be Quiet case has like panels all around it, so it's not just a case, but it has like another panel up here where you can put fans in. It has panels up front. It has panels on the bottom. But the way that case is set up is in a way where you have a whole bunch of mounting points for fans up top, and if you don't populate them all that's going to happen is this, for example, you populate the center fan, that's going to blow air down, but then the air it's actually drawing in comes up through the other two fan slots, fan positions, and it just ends up circulating air instead of pulling air in from the outside. So I had to duct tape off those two slots. I actually printed 120mm fan covers. Yeah. I almost like want to... I almost want to put a 120 fan in the front here. What are you? You had two weird rivets. Did I drill you out or did I not drill you out? What? Why are there two rivets in the front? These two. Was that part of the... Oh. I just pulled those out. Okay. So those two were still holding in the tray. Okay. So I could, that's a 140. I could just put a 140 here, or on the inside actually. Could just zip tie that in somehow. I think that wouldn't be too bad of an idea. Just to get some more airflow in here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. So you come out. Grinder time? I don't have my grinder right now. I've got that loaned out to a friend. So, high quality case. I think I'm gonna stick with the Cooler Master fan. And I guess I could just drill some holes through this case. So there's some... What are you? You're part of the front panel. Okay, so I can't take you out, but I can take out two holes from here and just screw that in. I think that's not too bad of an idea. That's it, something like this. Yeah, and I do still need to take out these two rivets because the fan blades are actually rubbing up against that. Yeah, I think that sounds reasonable. I guess these would be the exact spacing for a 120. Where is that 120 that I grabbed? Is that the spacing? No, it is just too wide. Okay. Yeah, just a random, probably the highest end component in this entire system. Be Quiet Pure brings 2. Okay. So you are gonna go here on the inside. Here, are we gonna hit? What are we gonna hit here? Not much. Yep, that's gonna work. Okay. So remove these two. Let me just grab a piece of cardboard so we don't get shavings all over the desk again. Maybe not that piece of cardboard because that's already full of shavings. Like this piece of cardboard. If only we had something that makes plastic parts out of CAD models. Yeah. But I don't want to spend the time on designing something right now. That's a nice catch tray. So yeah, the 3D printers are great, but you need to take the time to design stuff. And I don't want to take the time to design stuff right now. I just want to make work. Those came up pretty cleanly. I'm happy with that. Okay, so we need spacing. That. So I guess we can slide this over a bit, yeah. Because right here we have that hole. Totally safe thing to do? Yeah, don't worry about it. That's the hole for the... This one we need to keep clear. This is the hole for the front shroud. So at least like this. I think that's good enough. I guess this would still need to be drilled out or something, but hey. So if you just do that, maybe something to hold that in place. Let me see if I can find some sort of a clamp. Yeah, by the way, this is not how you typically build a PC. Typically, it's a lot less destructive than this. And involves a lot less drilling. That's not doing anything. Not what I'm doing here, but hey. Gotta do what you gotta do. So I'm drilling with a 3mm drill here. And I'm hoping this is even making it through. Yeah, just barely. But the fan holes are closer to 5mm. So I'm gonna switch that real quick. And yeah. By the way, any tips for getting rid of these rivet stacks on a drill bit? 5, 6, what are you? Where are my fan screws? Yeah, I guess the 5's gonna work. Tape. Best tool to use for this, by the way, would be something like a step drill. Makes cleaner holes, especially in sheet metal, because we always just taking away a bit of material at the radius. Instead of trying to punch through all at once. Use a vice clip to clamp onto them. Yeah, that should work. Okay. Don't have a 5.5, so I'm just going to use a 6. Okay, so when removing shavings, always shake away from the motherboard. By the way, would this land me a job at LTT? Is this like janky enough? I hear they're into that stuff. So you go here. I hope that's not going to make too much noise being covered up like this. Oh well, one way to find out. And I'm actually out of fan screws, so I'm gonna have to go with 2 screws for each fan. Should be enough. Basically on par with removing a hard drive with a hammer, then complaining it's not working. Did they remove a hard drive with a hammer? That's good enough. It works. Yeah, washer would help. Yeah, but it's not. There's like a 3mm gap, so it's not gonna make that much of. I need a spacer. I need an actual spacer for this. But I don't think I have any. This is fine. Fine enough. Good enough. In the latest TikTok text review, God, TikTok. Well, I guess being successful on TikTok isn't that hard then. I should give it a go sometime. So, fans. Thankfully, I did grab the one with the extra fan headers. So, this is going to go into the water pump header. These are all hybrid headers that take both DC fans and PWM fans, as at least, you know, if the manual is to be believed. Okay, there's one more fan here, chassis fan, water pump, and there should be two more down here. So these are case fan 3 and case fan 2. So case fan 2 is going to be our side fan, and then case fan 1 is going to be the rear fan. And I'm going to grab an 80mm fan real quick. I did find a 92mm fan, but it was one that came out of some sort of 3D printer because it had a proprietary plug on it. I'm going to use this. Yeah, the spin's okay enough. Arctic F8 TC. Oops. So this one has a thermal probe on it. So it has a little NTC already pre-wired, so it does control its own RPM. Not sure how useful that's going to be. I think I'm just going to stick it into the CPU cooler, but yeah, you can still, like, you can't exactly override it through PWM control or your DC fan control to the mainboard, but you can like add, you can lower the speed on top of what the fan itself is lowering. So basically how these temperature control fans work is if they just get 12 volt, they spin slower if the temperature probe senses a lower temperature, which would make sense. But also if you give them a lower voltage or chop their input as you would do on a mainboard output, they spin even slower on that and then regulate their speed on a lower level. So I guess I could just put this on constant speed and it would be fine. So chassis fan. Can I wrap this around a bit more? I would have needed to put it in differently. This, and then... Ah, that's nice. Oh, that slides in so nicely. So this temperature probe is just in the CPU fan now. Okay. That is nice. Where are my zip ties? There they are. I misplaced my box of zip ties, so I'm just using the ones that are included with the power supply. Basically, main objective right now is to keep the wires out of harm's way, just to make sure they're not like getting sucked into some fan, be it the CPU fan or something else. Oh yeah, that first zip tie did its job. And I would say that is good enough. It's not pretty, but it's good enough. I need some snips. I've always got like 20 of those flush cutters. There's one. There we go. All right. Never seen these fans before? They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool to use for projects as well, where you have one specific temperature that you want to regulate and you don't want to like write a whole fan control loop. And they're not that expensive. I'm using them, in fact, I'm using them in this big softbox right here for the, this is a Godox SL60W, as is that one, and as is the blue one that's lighting up the background. And the fans in those are relatively loud by themselves, but if you use the TC fans, you can actually get them cooler than the stock fans, and they run much quieter. So pretty cool for that. And you can still use them in a hotter environment because the fan's just going to spin up faster. Okay, we need the Actually, you know what? Am I going to put in the side fan? Should I put in the side fan at all? Is the temperature adjustable on them? It is not. Though I think some actually have a small potentiometer on the back. They just have a fixed curve. You can look that up on the on Arctic's website, FATC. They do have that published, and they actually show you how fast it's going to be spinning at which temperature. So, okay, I don't know if actually going to be. There we go. I don't know if you will actually be able to fit a fan in the side here. So I think this is looking very tight. I was going to say I think this is looking good, but yeah, should be this way. Yeah, no, this is just not going to fit. Ever so barely not going to fit. I think. Yeah, so this is slightly taller than the GPU. So I'm just putting stuff on top of each other here. So GPU is here, so there. GPU is right here. So if I put a fan on top of the GPU, you can see it's just above flush, and the way that this is built, it sticks in slightly into the case, just above flush, and yeah, it's going to be just about colliding with the GPU. So we're not going to be able to put a side fan in this case. That is unfortunate, but we do have the two front fans, so that's good. I think that should be enough of an airflow through this case. Let me see. So we have, yeah, it's not going to be great. I think I should cover up this side vent and just force airflow across the entire system. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna grab the printed covers that I made, and I'm gonna take out these slot covers in the back so we actually get air flowing out the back. Can I persuade the case to be a bit wider? I could force it closed, like absolutely. Oh, these are so light as well. I could force the case closed, but I would be pressing up against the GPU, and I don't want to do that, which means I would be pressing against the main board. Just not happy with that. Okay, and when we do have airflow over, so basically we're gonna have lambda. We're gonna have linear flow across the entire case. There's no openings in the top or bottom, so we're just gonna have two fans, one 140, one 120. Just pressing, just having airflow across the entire thing. I think that's gonna be actually a reasonably good solution. I'm not saying it's great. I wish this GPU had some extra fresh air that it can pull in. Oh yeah, this is the one that was cross-threaded out of the box. All right, all right. I'm gonna grab the fan cover. What is Tom posting? What is Tom tweeting about here? Way above his pay grade. Okay, can't really look into that right now. Remove the GPU fan trap. That's an option, but that's pretty radical. So instead, I've printed these so long ago. This must have been like 4 years or something. Instead, I'm just going to cover up this side vent. I guess I could just tape over it, but yeah, I think this is a bit nicer. And we're going to use some glorious gaff tape with that. So that's going to slide this way, so I'm just going to tape that. And we have another. It's a 140s, like I said, but yeah. Tom was here a second ago. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't read tweets and live stream at the same time. I think that would be, what's the word? Not nice for you guys to watch me read tweets. All 15 of you. I appreciate you. Just hanging out. Doing builds that shouldn't be done this way. So the entire idea of this second channel is like, hey, I'm just gonna stream whatever. Just gonna have, you know, the camera running on stuff I do anyways. I had a channel like this already at some point. I think I've told this story before, but I've since converted that channel to Meltdown podcast channel. So that channel lives on with a different purpose and with a different name. But I thought, like, hey, if you're interested in me just doing stupid stuff with 3D printing in a non-coordinated way, perhaps you're interested in Stefan and me doing the same thing in a podcast format. Yeah. Not on Twitch. No, okay, here's the thing. Twitch is like a platform that I've never got. As in, like, yeah, the way that Twitch is set up, it probably works. It doesn't look half bad. It probably works great for like gaming streams where you like just turn on a game and play stuff, where you don't need to like put any effort into a stream, where you can just, you know, where the stream entertains people by itself, where it's not you doing anything, where it's just you playing a game. The game itself is already enough of an entertainment. With 3D printing stuff or building stuff, it's always, you always have to perform. You always have to perform for the camera, for the stream, to be able to make something that's entertaining. And that is, I think it is a lot more taxing to keep up with that and to keep doing, you know, the printer unboxing. Sure, that's what I usually stream on my main channel, or in this channel perhaps at some point. That is just so much more of a, you know, of a challenge and of a mental exercise than just playing a video game. I mean, I'm sure. Gaming commentators, that's a job as well, and that is surely also something that is exhausting, but it is easier to keep that going. Is this a fine pitch thread? Oh, I've not put a power supply in for so long. It's easier to keep that going than to do it with like a maker 3D printer style content. I don't think this is a fine pitch thread, is it? Of course, that goes in much better. So yeah, Twitch. So the way that Twitch is set up with their like, hey, you only get the features if you're an affiliate or a partner or whatever, is it really is just built for people who can just turn on a computer, sit down for 2 hours and stream. I can't do that. I can't just you know, sit down and stream, and it's not going to be, I mean, if I did that, it wouldn't be a good stream. It would be, you know, stuff like, hey, just building a PC or hanging out. I mean, Barnacle, I don't know if he's streaming on Twitch, but he can't do that. He just, you know, hangs out, he just talks about stuff, but that's not the sort of live stream that I would like to produce. And Twitch kind of requires for you to be on so often every week. I think it's like 3 or 4 times a week, or I don't know, 10 or 15 days a month. Where I'm like, I can't do that. That would be my life if I was doing that sort of output volume. These cables are like way too long for this. If I was doing that sort of volume on Twitch, like I would have nothing else that I would be doing, and I just don't want to commit that much to Twitch. So yeah, like Richard is saying, like the thing is, if I were to stream on Twitch, either it would be a worse option than streaming on YouTube, or it would be, you know, my entire thing. Like I would have no other stuff that I do than stream on Twitch. You only get transcoding if you're a partner. Ooh, affiliates get transcoding if there's free capacity. Okay. Yeah, and that entire format thing is also like, you know, I'm just used to shoving video towards YouTube, and YouTube's like, well, if you want to watch it at a lower bitrate, that's fine. But I guess Twitch doesn't do that. Twitch doesn't do that? Okay, it's interesting. Scales are also interesting because it's one set of wires going out of the power supply, and it's feeding both PCIe connectors. It's interesting. So I'm going to use the first one for the 8-pin. And then the second one for the 6-pin. Yeah, so that entire Twitch tiers, partner, affiliate, whatever, it's kind of putting me off of Twitch. There would have been an opportunity to get partnered on Twitch at one point, which would have been, you know, a starting point for me to try out Twitch at least. But unfortunately, that opportunity got cancelled, and it never happened. So I never got like partnered or affiliated or whatever on Twitch. Apparently, there's also a whole lot of, hey, if you talk to the right people on Twitch, like they can get you affiliated, they can get you partnered. So it's not like they put out rules, but they don't stick to the rules, which is weird. I guess there's like several tiers of streamers. Like if you're a streamer that Twitch likes, then you get the bonuses. If you're somebody that Twitch doesn't like, or you're not friends with the right people, then you're just average Joe. I don't know. I don't know. YouTube's been fine for streaming, and I don't see why I would want to stream on anything other than, oh, I still need the EPS connector. I don't see a reason why I would want to stream on anything other than YouTube, because it's fine. And I mean, if I want to, I can just make a second channel and stream stuff like this to 15 people. Which is okay, because it's stuff I'm doing anyways. Wow, 2 12-volt EPS connectors, both of them. This board's getting so much power. Which the 3600 totally needs. Yeah, the multi-channel strategy, sure, like it's... Here's the thing with multiple channels. It always feels like you're wasting potential. Like, hey, you know, this 3D printer unboxing that I'm doing, it could go on the main channel too, perhaps. You know, it could be streaming to 300 and I don't know how many thousand subscribers. You could be streaming to those instead of streaming to 200 subscribers. 400? I don't know. But then it's like, well, I guess it makes sense to keep the main channel like clean, to keep that reserved for the higher production value stuff, that, you know, reviews that are fully scripted and produced, guides and stuff that are like actual produced content, and then just do, you know, streams like this as like a side thing on a separate channel. Yeah, that's not great. That is not great at all. I'm gonna zip tie this to the fan. Not recommended, but it works. Yeah, yeah, that's also something like, yeah, just background noise, as in you watch a stream as just having some sort of background noise. That's, yeah, that's the sort of content that I guess this channel is. And if you have a question, if you like, if I have mental capacity to answer that sort of stuff, then I'll be happy to answer those, and maybe get something out of that. So, wow, I should turn on the extra light of that camera. Huh? Is that better? Let me check. I guess it's a bit better. Battery is a bit low on that, but it's fine. Oh yeah, that is a lot better. So yeah, cable management, like you can see up front here, I've zip tied that to the back of the fan, which is mounted with 2 screws halfway. Yeah, not clean at all. But hey, it's an 80 plus gold power supply by Seasonic. Alrighty then, I guess we could. Hi, Makita Drill. I guess I could put like a piece of foam or something underneath this GPU. I guess I should. Oh, that is a dull knife. So just wrap this up. There we go. Just a bit of support. Tiniest amount of support. It's good. It's good. Okay, bit of cardboard. 2 screws. Linus would be impressed. Does he usually just use 1 screw? So there we go. That is a nasty. I'm sorry this turned out the way it did. I thought this would be a bit cleaner, but that is like, there's no way to manage away these. They're not going to be sticking into any fans, but like, I could zip tie these to the front here, but that's not gonna hide them. It's just gonna put them in a different position. Front cover goes on. There's my front cover. Front cover goes on. I still need to plug in that fan. Oh, you can actually feel. Wow. Wow, you can actually feel the filter fabric or the filter material poking through the front here. That is so bad. It's just that rubbery, sticky, foamy feel they get when you, Okay, I am not a fan of that case, Fractal. So, fan needs to come through here. I mean, since there's no wire management is like really easy because there is none to do. So, oh, where was I gonna plug you in? We're gonna go underneath the graphics card into that slot right there. Okay. You need to come out one more time. Yeah, it's gonna sit on the floor for years without anyone looking in it. That is correct. such a beautiful graphics card. I do like the look of that. It's technically like not a very good card, but you know, it's pretty to look at. Guess I can zip tie that to that bottom panel as well. Is there enough thread left? No, there's already no thread left, so guess we got a bit of a thread ripper here. Haha. So that is the fan. Actually, I'm just going to take this one off entirely. Is that actually what AMD meant when they said they've got a thread ripper? I don't think so. Don't think they were thinking of cheap sheet metal cases. You could call them sheet metal cases. That's a different story. So GPU goes back in. And then I'm going to use the other hole right now. This feels so, yeah, this feels so thin and cheap and ready to just give up. I guess for sheet metal you can use threaded inserts. There are like rivet inserts that you can use to actually very effectively. You know that's what you find if you Google on AliExpress for threaded insert. You typically find like thread rivets. I don't know what other term to use for those. Basically they're like pop rivets, but they have an internal thread. So those are perfect for sheet metal because, you know, if you have a thread that is just completely worn out, or if you have a blank hole, you pop that rivet through, you pull it tight, and you've got a proper solid thread there. Of course, it might still spin if it's not properly riveted. But yeah, you do have that option. I guess it could work for this right here if you needed to repair those. But yeah, rivet nut. Yeah, exactly. Right. We done. We've built a PC. Here it is in all its tiny glory. Using a lot of car mods. I bet. But the sheet metal they use for cars. Where is my side panel? Oh, both here. Huh. The sheet metal they use for cars is a lot thicker typically than what they use for, or maybe not exactly thicker, but higher quality. I would say higher quality steel than what they use for these PC cases. Not that these cases typically need to be much more than. I was going to say the colors mismatch. Not that these cases need to be much more than, you know. They don't need to be much more than just barely thick enough to survive the assembly process, but yeah. Would be nice to have some higher quality material. So I'm going to actually plug this into my capture card. I'm not going to plug it into a screen because I don't have a spare screen. I'm just going to plug it into my capture card. I'm going to be able to see the screen on my OBS. And it's exactly what you're going to be seeing. So you're going to be seeing the BIOS screen as well, though it might be very small because I don't think OBS is going to scale it up. But we're just going to give that a go. So you come over here, HDMI, and then we're going to need a keyboard. Do the side panels at least have thumb screws? Yes. Actually, I'm going to use the USB 2 ports for this. The side panels do have thumb screws, but the threads on them are not particularly nice. Okay, power is the last thing we need. Maybe a cable that's a bit longer than that. That's not a cable that's any longer, but hey, I tried. Paul's asking, hey, do you think Germany's going to get red, red, green? Referring to the makeup of Germany's next parliament. Red, red, green being the Social Party, the left, and the Green Party. Looks like the most likely outcome right now, yeah. Since the so-called conservatives are taking a real hit. But yeah, not streaming for politics today. We're streaming to see if this system works. This card I don't think has any RGB on it. The cooler doesn't, so I think we're all good. Let's go ahead, power supply at the top. It's been a while since I've built a system like that. Let's give this a go. Actually, I think I do need to switch over to screen cap here first. Oh yeah, okay, so you're going to see a whole bunch of cameras overlaid, but that frame right there, that's going to be the screen cap on the system. Okay, the power switch doesn't do anything. That is... Okay. Why does the power switch not do anything? Let's double check. So, plug is plugged in into a power strip that is powered on. Okay. The power supply is turned on. Oh, this switch doesn't feel very good, but the power supply is turned on. ATX power is plugged in. EPS power is plugged in. The GPU is plugged in, which shouldn't matter. The connectors for the power switch are plugged in. I'm hoping it didn't pull those out. Nope. Nothing. Power button wiring. Yep. That is the most likely culprit right now. So I'm gonna turn this power supply off. The plug should be in all the way. I'll turn this off, and we're just gonna start debugging a bit here. So I will need to unplug. Sorry that I'm a bit off the side here. So I'm going to try without, or I'm just going to take a peek underneath here and see what we've got. Power button wiring, most likely culprit right now. I'm just going to see, and so GPU stays out for now. I'm just going to see if I can, so I'm going to unplug all of these. Okay. Switch on your power strip. The power strip is switched on, and in fact it is the same power strip that the streaming computer is running off of, so that one should be on. Let me just get the manual and see what the pinout is on that, because it's too dark in that case for me to see what that pinout is actually. Oh, there it is. So system headers. Power LED, power button, and ground. So it's on the 4-pin side, the short one. So I'm just going to short that out real quick with the power supply turned on, and if it boots, then I know I had stuff plugged in wrong. Okay, that works. For some reason the front fans are off, which is irritating, but I'm sure that's just a config thing. Okay, so power switch. It's not the smell you want to smell, but it might just be my nose hallucinating. Power LED. You know what? I'm not going to plug in the power LED. I will plug in the power LED. So power button, reset and ground is right underneath the power button. One over. I know this is not very fun to watch because it's you can't see, but unfortunately I do not have any better angle of this. Remember when you actually still needed the hard drive LED just to tell you, hey, is my computer frozen, or you know, is it actually still doing something? Those were the days. So you're on. Let me check the physical power button. So it's just plugged in, and oh. Okay, well that's fascinating. It appears the power button is defective on this very case. So this is actually not doing anything. What a piece of garbage. I'm gonna get some multimeter leads real quick. And we can actually test the button. And if it is the button, wow. Good luck getting a warranty replacement. Yeah, I think we're past that. So let's see. Diode test, continuity test. That works. I'm gonna unplug it from the header. Oh, I found the problem. Don't even need to test it. So if you're familiar with, hold on. I shall show you on the B-cam. This is the B-cam, this is the B-cam. If you are familiar with these DuPont style connectors, these right here, then you probably know that this is not how they're supposed to look. So they actually overcrimped right there. They overcrimped that wire, and that wire is broken off. That wire is broken off in the connector. Fantastic! Wow. What a piece of garbage. So I'm going to use the reset switch for the power switch. At least that should get this thing working, but holy crap. Fractal! Come on, Fractal. Could have done better than this. That's getting the 1-star review, that's for sure. So, GPU goes back in one more time. Nope, you go in the other way. Come on. Well, you went in last time so well. There we go. 1 and 2. I'm always surprised like how little of a power rating these PCIe connectors have, because the 6-pin is just 100 and no, hold on, 100 and no, 75 watts over the 6-pin officially. Like I'm sure manufacturers and card manufacturers are drawing way more power than that, but 75 watts on that, and I think 125 or 150 on the 8-pin. Like these are chunky boys. Like you can't be that those are limited to so little current. Okay, should be done. Let's give this a try again. So HDMI in here. We still have the keyboard connector, and we need power. Screen cap and power on and power on. Okay, blue LED, very bright. CPU fan is spinning, rear fan is spinning. Let's see if we can get into the BIOS here. Okay, stuff is spinning up, but not getting any output yet on the GPU. GPU has happy power LEDs. There we go. Hold on, I'm gonna need to resize you real quick. Okay. That is cropped. Okay, that's not good. Why are you cropped? Huh? Nope. Huh, unfortunately I can't uncrop this. Okay. Well, I guess that's the limits of the capture card. So let's just see if we can... CPU 50 degrees. Wow, what's up with that? I guess the fan settings are down here. Are the fans spinning? Fans are all spinning, that is good. I guess we can configure all the... Oh yeah, it's running at 2133. We can configure all that. Boot option number 1, Windows Boot Manager is detected. CSM, do we need CSM? I don't think we need CSM. So let's just see if we can do a UEFI boot. Well, this should be easy enough. Windows 10 is pretty good at booting from or booting in a different setup. Come on, please don't be a boot loop. Oh. Right, so Windows is booting, that's good. Just need to look up the BitLocker recovery key. Should have disabled that first, but oh well. So yeah, system runs. Not gonna be able to type that in right now. That's gonna take a minute. That's gonna take a hot minute to look up. So system running, that's good. That's a built PC. It runs. It works. Okay, I know all the components work by themselves, right? The 5700 XT works. The 3600 X CPU works. Fans, the fans. Mainboard is good. Excellent. The case is garbage. this is hot garbage. Wow. So that's just going to be it for today, right? That's all I can show you. The system works, the system boots. The system just turned off, which is actually what it does with BitLocker. That is expected. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for keeping me company. Thanks if you thought this was entertaining, helpful at all. Don't buy the Fractal Design Core 1000. Do buy the ASRock B450M Pro 4 or the other components. I don't have any affiliate links for this. Nobody's gonna watch this anyways. All right. Next live stream is gonna be on. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing it on this channel or on the main channel. But next stream is going to be Elegoo Saturn unboxing, which has been in the box for like half a year or a year now. Yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for being here, and I will see you all sometime in the future. Have a nice Sunday. Goodbye.